Here we go then, it's time to race in Mexico City, a place which gave Honda their first ever victory back in 1965. American Richie Ginther won from third on the grid. And what are the Honda-powered cars this year? Well, Red Bull have been going strong here in recent seasons, so can they keep that record going today? The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 2.6 miles of track that allows drivers to take full advantage of their cars, reaching speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and providing lots of opportunities for overtaking. The circuit features 17 corners, 10 to the right, and the remaining 7 going to the left. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Anthony Davidson, alongside me as always, to talk you through the action.
What is Esteban Ocon doing so far back on the grid? He's not been able to find his pace at all this weekend, and he could be in for an unpleasant Grand Prix. And let's see who's able to keep their tyres in that temperature sweet spot early on. You've got a great tyre warmer underneath your right foot, and the drivers need to make the most of that on the formation lap, lest they see themselves skating wide at turn 1 on cold rubber.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, and a Red Bull. Norris, Stroll, Albon, and Charles Leclerc. Ocon, Gasly, Sergio Perez. They've taken a grid penalty. And Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Magnussen, Daniel Kvyat, and Nicholas Latifi. Russell and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
It's the Mexican Grand Prix. We have a Renault and a McLaren starting on the front row to 5. Red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. And everybody gets away well. Daniel Ricciardo gets a good start. We get a good start as well. But so does Valtteri Bottas. He's already side by side with Carlos Sainz at the start. Going down towards turn 1. We get boxed in a little bit. And oh no, we made some contact. And now Valtteri Bottas has been spun around as we just get ahead of Lando Norris. The second McLaren, and it's a big kerfuffle near the rear. And our teammate who had an engine penalty going into this race for changing components has not had the best of starts because of that crash at the back. I think that everyone got going again, but very unfortunate stuff from Valtteri Bottas as we come together with him yet again. We came together with him at Suzuka, he spun around. Now we come together in the first lap at Mexico in the first corner, and he's been spun around, and now he's at the back. So the championship is slipping away from Valtteri Bottas, but Daniel Ricciardo has gotten away well, and he retains his lead from Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton, and we come back in P4. And now as we ride on board Lando Norris, we lock up a little bit. Now Norris is trying to go around the outside, and he just will have to wait a little bit longer. He has a lot more pace than us as we have front wing damage on the front left side from contact with Valtteri Bottas at the start. And on the exit, he will get a good run. And yeah, Daniel Ricciardo goes through the first couple of corners. And Daniel Ricciardo has really done everything that he needs to do to try to keep this lead, as now we're going side by side with Lando Norris yet again. But we just keep it in front of Lando Norris between the skin of our teeth. As we ride on board Esteban Ocon, as he almost has a little bit of a look at Sebastian Vettel, but thinks better of it. Probably the better choice of the two, as Daniel Ricciardo is doing everything perfectly at the start phase, as he's keeping Sainz at a good distance so far. Daniel Ricciardo has won before, but that was back in his Red Bull days. We ride on. Now we see Lando Norris right on the back of us. He will have slipstream. Now he goes to the right-hand side. We blocked him off once. Down towards turn 1, and we had the AlphaTauri appear. Gasly now behind us, right behind us, going into turn 1. We are side by side, and Lando Norris has a little bit of a look, but he is half spun kind of. He's lost the rear end, but that does not discern him from trying to go back at us, as he's side by side with us, going down towards turn 5. This is, and 5 and 6, and now we just stay ahead of Lando Norris, but he is really charging at us at a rate of knots. So we have to really make sure that we have no mistakes so far in the rest of the race, or else Lando will really pounce on us. Going through the final corner now. Lando Norris yet again, he'll have DRS this time, so that will really fuel him to get past us as we are side by side with each other. Going down towards turn 1, it'll be very tight. We tuck up behind him, and someone's off, and it's Pierre Gasly, and he's spun, and he's gone straight into Sebastian Vettel, and that's a huge accident oh no, and that's Valtteri Bottas out, and he speeds across the track right into Kevin Magnussen, and that is a huge crash, and I hope everybody is okay, because that was absolutely massive, and that will be a safety car, no doubt. I'm wondering if that'll be a red flag, because that is a lot of debris across the track, and as you see, here is Nicholas Latifi retiring from the race, and that is no surprise as he was involved in that massive crash, and I really hope that everyone's okay, because that was absolutely massive. Now, during the safety car period, we can see exactly what happened riding on board with Pierre Gasly. Let's see, does he lose it in a straight line? He does lose it in a straight line, tries to overcorrect and slams into the barrier, speeds across the track right in the way of Sebastian Vettel, and just is lying there on the side of the track with Pierre Gasly. We're right on board with Sebastian Vettel going down towards turn 1, and he got kind of blindsided by Pierre Gasly. As you see, Gasly's off and he gets hit, and that's where he really makes the contact with the wall, and he can see everything happen right in front of him, and that was massive. We ride on board with the Epic Canadian who retired from this race. And he just gets hit. Lance Stroll, and he's right off, and he gets hit again and again, both times by the Mercedes, and that was very scary from Lance Stroll. As we ride on board with Valtteri Bottas, he's trying to get past the Williams, and he couldn't see anything, slides off, hits the wall, speeds across the track in the way of Kevin Magnussen, takes Magnussen out in the process. As we ride on board with Nicholas Latifi, he retired a couple of corners later after the damage. Let's see exactly. Oh my god, that was horrific. Absolutely horrific as he runs straight into the side of Valtteri Bottas. We ride on board with Kevin Magnussen. He got blindsided by Valtteri Bottas coming across the track, and that was massive as he spews across the track into the barrier. We ride on board with our teammate Alexander Albon. He got caught up in this as he sees everything happen in front of him, and he just can't stop because Lance Stroll spews across the track right in his way, so he will have mega front wing damage. Let's see it one more time up from the offboard. He loses it, hits the barrier, spews across the track right in the way of Sebastian Vettel, and then Constantiner's up, and everybody hits each other. Valtteri Bottas is off. He hits Kevin Magnussen, and that is massive. Now Lando Norris pits because of that front wing damage, and McLaren will really be trying to fix that car as quick as they can. The safety car's gone, but it's not a red flag, which I'm very surprised about because there's a load of debris spewed across the track near turn 1 as we go to this battle live. And these are the two Williams, and it's Danny Kvyat going side by side with George Russell as we go down towards turn 1, and now the Racing Point wants some of this as he goes side by side, and look at the debris. This should be a red flag. Red flag the race. This is insane. But it will come out of the top of the two Williams, and it is just, and I mean just, Danny Kvyat as we head down towards the next couple of quarters. And wow, the Racing Point really got away well, and as he passes a couple of cars, as we see, I think that's Romain Grosjean trying to get past the Williams, which he does. He gets past George Russell into the airplane. Here comes Carlos Sainz, and this is for the race lead. He goes round the outside, and he will be into the race lead as he passes Daniel Ricciardo on the straight with DRS. So Ricciardo, who's led from start to almost finish, gets passed by Carlos Sainz via DRS. Here's Romain Grosjean. He lost a couple places among a couple corners. Now he's going side by side and ahead of Kimi Räikkönen. Now he's going around the outside of the Williams. Will he get this move done as he's down the inside from the next couple of corners, and again he gets passed. Now Charles Leclerc is really knocking on our front door as this is the battle for 4th place. We try to go around the outside, and Leclerc pushes us out the track. We squeeze him back. Going into the next couple of corners, he's around the outside, but we just keep it through. around the final corner. He's done superbly. He's got past Daniel Ricciardo. He crosses the line to win the Mexican Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz from Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton. And that was a smooth operation indeed from Carlos Sainz as he wins his maiden Grand Prix. And an amazing result for McLaren as they get their first victory in a very long time.
Tom, do you know what that was? That was a smooth operator. Smooth operation.
The thin air here in Mexico City makes this event a brutal one for these Formula One cars. But this team have done a fantastic job to make it to the checkered flag and take a well-earned victory. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
What a race. Wow. So Carlos Sainz wins from Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton. We come in P4. And that was a crazy, crazy race. 5 DNFs after that massive crash. The most in any race this season. As per every race, it's time for our post-race interview. Yeah, it was a wild race. I definitely think it should have been a red flag. I mean, for safety reasons, it was insane to not have a red flag. Safety cars not enough, and there were cars galore all over the track. It 100% should have been a red flag. I have no idea how it wasn't a red flag, but the safety team needs to really look into it because that was so dangerous what they decided for us. And yeah, we came in P4. We made contact yet again with another Mercedes. Hopefully that doesn't happen anymore because it's really becoming something of a deja vu moment, but yeah, we'll look into Brazil, and hopefully we can have another good race.